of that neighborhood. Mockingbird and Preston's kind of the main and main for that part of town. So the grocery stores were all on the periphery instead of in the middle of town because just the sites weren't there.
What's the next closest one? Inwood and University, maybe?
Yeah, Inwood and University, and which is just outside of the kind of town limits, and one on Turtle Creek. And there's a Tom Thumb on Turtle Creek, and they're around, but they're not on necessarily your walking path or your biking path. Exactly. And so that we saw that as kind of an opportunity to do a flagship. Highland Park Village is a marquee project in the state of Texas and really states surrounding. So we thought, what an opportunity to kind of make a big splash. That store is 2 to 3 times the size of normal Royal Blue grocery stores. We really wanted to kind of bring the full offering, have everything with enough variety and selection to serve that neighborhood where it could really be kind of a mini neighborhood grocery store, not just kind of a bodega or a convenience play.
And it's a gathering place. You've got a coffee bar there, and lots of different wine offerings. So yeah, it's a neat place to gather and meet.
Thanks. Yeah, that's been one of the most fun things about it is seeing it become kind of a the gathering spot, or in a way the pub for the neighborhood, the spot where everybody can kind of get together outside of the home, outside of work, bumping into neighbors, bumping into coworkers, a mix of all types of people, from professionals that are in their 3-piece suit having a meeting to moms in their pushing their strollers up, students studying, workers in the area that are taking a break and need something quick and easy to eat. And it's just kind of a come as you are sort of a vibe, and people you can get in and out of our stores really quickly. That's one of kind of our unique points is it's not a big box store that takes you a long time, but people do tend to linger sometimes too, just because they like the experience.
Yeah. And you guys have a kind of different view on the grocery product. You guys deliver the grocery concept in a different way than other similar. You're not exactly like a big grocer. You're not exactly like a 7-Eleven. You guys do it differently. So what are some of the differences between how Royal Blue operates?
Yeah, we're kind of in the middle of those two. I say we don't really have any direct competitors, but we have dozens of kind of indirect competitors, from big box to the convenience stores to the drug stores to coffee shops, sandwich and salad shops. We kind of put all that under one roof in a way. And groceries, it's you go into your typical big box grocer and it's kind of a warehouse type experience. But it's the errand that we run probably most often. You're not shopping for retail every other day or, some of the other errands we run. So it's like, why not elevate the experience a little bit, particularly in today's economy with retailers, you really have to have an experience with service and finish to get people to not just click their laptop online and have something ordered. It needs to be easy. It needs to be, kind of emotionally rewarding. And so we really focus on those things to kind of set us apart and build traffic.
Okay, so now we have Highland Park Village, and we have 2 other stores in Dallas proper. We have downtown.
That's right.
And then we have the store in the Trammell Crow Center, or the Trammell Crow Tower.
That's right.
That's right. How are those 3 stores doing?
Great. We opened on Main Street a little over a year ago. It was kind of late summer 2018. That store is it's 3,500 feet. It's a little bit bigger than the Austin stores, but half the size of the flagship store. It does really well because it's a great location. We're right on Main Street, and we're surrounded by office buildings, apartment buildings, hotels. Main Street's a bit of a kind of entertainment district in a way, so there's a lot of foot traffic and a lot of service industry folks that are needing stuff quick in and out. And so it does really well, kind of 7 days a week, every hour of the day. Then we opened in the Arts District on Ross Avenue about 2 months ago now, and it's doing really well too. Particularly daytime. There's so much office there. Before we opened, we kind of surveyed the neighborhood, seeing what was there. Does this make sense? Residential is coming, which is going to kind of help us with weekends and evenings, but there's something like 12 million square feet of office in a 4-block radius.
It's amazing.
And if you kind of do that math, that's something like 30,000 people there every day. And, we have 4,500 tenants upstairs, office tenants upstairs. So it's a really, really busy store. And, they're all a little bit different than each other because they're in different neighborhoods, and we have to tweak our mix according to what the customer wants.
But all these neighborhoods have lowly staffers like I used to be that need a toothbrush, I guess.
Exactly. So, all sorts of stuff, even in kind of the office-centric Ross Avenue corridor, people still want to stop and grab something on their way home because it saves them a trip to the grocery store.
Right.
So they can come through and grab those 2 or 3 things that they need to kind of get through the next 48 hours, and then they're good.
And y'all are there. I mean, I would say you're blazing trails down into parts of the city that are not served by a big box grocer, let's say.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to come right back after the break. We want to talk about Royal Blue's expansion plans into Oak Cliff. We're with Zac Porter, Dallas owner of Royal Blue. We'll be right back after this.
You really need to act F-A-S-T. You really need to act F-A-S-T-E. It's the face, it's the arm, it's the speech, it's the time. 911 is the number to dial. You need to act F-A-S-T. You really need to act F-A-S-T-E.
Spot a stroke? Call 911 fast. For more, go to strokeassociation.org.
Welcome back, Deconstructing Dallas. Ryan Trimble, Sean Williams. Sean, we're joined by Zac Porter of Royal Blue Grocers today. Zac, you guys have an exciting project going on in Oak Cliff. What drew y'all to want to open a Royal Blue in Oak Cliff?
Yeah, it's it's a neighborhood that we seek out. It's an urban neighborhood that maybe has a gap where big grocers haven't gone yet, conventional grocers. It's very urban. On top of that, it's very creative. I would think it's maybe one of the more creative neighborhoods in Dallas, with the culture there being as diverse as it is, and kind of the restaurants that have opened and galleries and retailers. It's a pretty exciting neighborhood, and it kind of spoke to our DNA in a way. We like kind of that sort of energy and that sort of kind of passion that you see coming out of the neighborhood there. And I've worked in Oak Cliff for a number of years in real estate and did a lot of the leasing for some of the projects over there and some of the tenants that are there, and Bishop Arts and Sylvan 30 and up and down, kind of that neighborhood. And so I've gotten to know it well and thought that it could be a really fun play for us. And it kind of turns out that my parents and Cullen, my business partner's parents, they both grew up in that neighborhood, and so
cool.
We've kind of been there, as kids, more or less, for years, getting to know it. And
did your mom go to Sunset?
She went to Sunset, Winnetka and Sunset. I don't remember the exact street she lived on, but she remembers having a trolley car that went up and down their street, and that's how she got, in and out of downtown and to school and stuff. So it's always, kind of held a special place in our hearts just because of our family ties there.
Yeah, very cool. So tell us about the store itself. What are you looking to do at the store?
Yeah, it's a really cool building. We've never gone into a freestanding building. We're usually at the bottom of towers or in shopping centers, and this was an old auto repair shop from decades ago. And it's about 4,000 feet, and it's more or less half of that is kitchen space, and then the front half will be front of house. So we benefited from a tenant that was there before doing a kind of a version of a market. They had installed a really nice kitchen because catering was a big part of what they did, and so we got to inherit all the mechanical, electrical, plumbing stuff. So the kitchen was more or less kind of ready for us to just upgrade. And then the store itself, it's really charming. Lots of glass, little back patio. We're going to put in a front patio, we hope. It's got some parking spaces on the side. It's this old brick building. You can see where the bays that face the street used to be the auto bays. And it's all brick inside, just, kind of raw painted brick where you can see the layers of paint that have kind of been put up and pulled off over the years. And so I think it's going to be a really great little store. It really lays out well for us, too, because it's a perfect square. And so that makes it real easy to lay out your aisles and everything. And so while the front of house is a little smaller than our downtown stores, it's so efficient without having all these columns and things that can intrude on your space in an office building. Sure. We'll end up having, it looks like, about twice as many grocery aisles in the Oak Cliff store as we do downtown, and it's a little less space. So we should be able to have a really full offering there with kind of everything that that neighborhood wants and needs.
And, Zach, there seems to be some confusion around a grant and a loan that you all apply for, grants that the city of Dallas have available for small businesses. So I wanted to see if you could explain a little bit about what those are and also how they came about.
Sure. So we've been talking to economic development staff since before we opened our Main Street store. So this is, discussions have been going on for years now. And ultimately, we kind of finally got to a point where they were figuring out these grants that had more or less been sitting on a shelf for a while. And we got to know staff through Downtown Dallas, Inc., which administers the TIF funds that are in place to attract retailers downtown. And so the city kind of said, hey, we're ready now. What are you guys working on? And at that point, we had a lease on Ross Avenue, and we're working on Oak Cliff. And so they said, okay, this is cool. This is 2 different districts that we can see need what you guys do. So since you're already well underway on Ross Avenue, and we kind of missed the chance to work together on Main Street, what if they proposed that we do a loan to help us with operating capital for the 2 downtown stores? So that's a low-interest loan. They've done these in the past. The new staff member used these same tools when he was in Chicago, I believe, and really had some success stories out of that. So in a way, we're kind of launching this program again with them. It's a low-interest loan, which allows us to kind of save some money, and so that we can make the investment that we want and that we think that neighborhood needs. And it also provides a bit of a return to Dallas. And so those 2 downtown stores will benefit from this $350,000 loan. And then the Oak Cliff store, there was some money left over from a 2017 bond for economic development projects and small businesses or even big businesses. And so that's a grant that will reimburse us for upgrades that we do to the building. So, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, installing refrigeration and kitchen, equipment and materials. And so those are kind of the two projects that we qualified for. And